So, I've got early access to F1 22 thanks to the EA Creator Network. I'm not able to talk about the game's new handling model and features just yet. My first thoughts on F1 22 as a whole will be up on the channel very soon, so be sure to subscribe for that. Alright, let's get into my first ever lap at Miami. So, we're in the Red Bull garage at the Miami circuit for the very first time for my first lap at the track. So, I've chucked on Jarno Opmeer's setup just because it's Jarno Opmeer, you know. Now, the reason why I've chosen the Red Bull is because there seems to be a little bit of an issue with the equal versus realistic cars at the moment. So, the Red Bull looks good. It's a great car. That's what we're rolling with. So, let's go for my very first lap around Miami. Okay, here's the long back straight, setting us up for our very first lap. Now, I've never done a lap on not on a set of course or any game. I've only looked at like the track map itself. Never really looked at an onboard. So we'll take it a little bit slowly. We've got the Hard Rock Stadium off on the right. Man, this track already looks so much higher quality than the other tracks. I obviously have had the chance to do the other tracks on the game already. Got a nice stand over to the left. A bunch of little bleachers, it looks like. Little standing points on the right. Oh, this is kind of giving me a bit of like Jeddah, Saudi Arabia feel. And then a long left-hander. Oh, it's a big curve. We're gonna be careful with that. And then I'm assuming this is the long, windy straight. Yep, even with DRS. Interesting that DRS is on this straight considering how windy it is. And it's got a little bit of elevation to it as well. Then, left into this part. Oh, that reminds me of the Vietnam Hanoi turn 1. Oh, this is very tight. And then this is in the slow part. Oh my lord. Oh my god. The curbs. It's so tight. Jesus. That gives me like kind of like a Formula E track vibe. Like kind of like Monaco-esque. Very tight, very windy, very slow. That's going to be very hard for the real life cars. And I mean on the game as well. And then obviously back to the very last corner. And then we hook it in to complete our very first lap of Miami. I think we'll take a look now around the track in spectator mode. So like I said, I have done time trial on the other tracks and checked them all out. That will be in another video where I talk about them all. I just can't show them in this video. And I do think this is probably the highest quality track out of all of them, as you would expect, just because it's fresh, it's new. You know, they had to put more time into it, building it from scratch. But man, this looks beautiful. So much people in the crowd. I love the Hard Rock Stadium over to the right. That actually looks really, really nice. All right, this is as high as we can go, but we'll keep flying around. Look at that. That is beautiful. Huge stadium. I can't wait to see this weekend with the actual cars out on track, the Miami vibes, the crowd going crazy. I feel like the run down to turn 1 is quite short. I wonder how much carnage we're going to get into turn 1 because of that. I mean, I feel like the shorter the start straight, the more carnage. What are these? These are actually kind of cool. I mean, I know there's been a lot of debate recently about the Miami track and a lot of the stands being used for like VIP stuff. I mean, that's pretty cool, but you could have a whole section of stands rather than these little things, but hey, at least it looks cool. But yeah, like I said, this section really reminds me of Saudi Arabia. That winding section of Sector 1. Let's hop out of screenshot mode and let's take it slowly around the track. It was too hard to, use a wheel and a keyboard to move around. Now, I've done a few laps since the last cut, and man, I must say, there's a few things I love, but also a few things that are very, very hard to wrap your head around on this track. The first one is this corner here. You have like barely any traction. You need to like upshift to 5th so you don't spin. So let's imagine we've lined up from 2nd place here. Rev up to whatever we want to go up to, and then boom. And then we're pretty much already at turn 1. Like, it's a very short entry, starting straight down to turn 1. And then it goes straight into a very windy section. I don't know. I find that very interesting. We'll see how that plays out in the race. You got to be careful of that curb. As you can see, I spun doing that on my laps. Then, into the left-hander. This gives me very Vietnam vibes, you know? The turn 1 left-hander into the slow sweeping right-hander. And this section, I can't wrap my head around this. Oh my lord. It's so slow. If you touch those curbs, you get flung. And then you got to try to keep traction while getting ready for the next 2 corners. And then accelerate down the straight, which I find I have a lot of traction there. Again, I will talk more about the handling model and the new features on the game in another video once we're allowed to share. But yeah, I find some sections very, very loose and some sections very, very grippy. But overall, it does feel way more realistic, this game, I feel. But yeah, that kind of completes first impression breakdown of Miami. I think we're going to hop into a 5-lap race now. Race some AI and see how the AI react around here. All right, let's do some Grand Prix mode. Turned on one shot. See what I can do over 1 lap. And then a 5-lap race. Formula 1, Crypto.com, Miami Grand Prix 2022. Toto checking out Lewis. Yes, we're going to be driving as Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Got the Yano Optimia set up on, and we're ready to go. Now, I've got an equal performance, but you can tell there's other cars pulling away from me, which shows that it's a bit bugged right now, and it's not on. The equal performance isn't actually set up. Sure, it'll be fixed once the game is out, though. We are keeping up with Verstappen, though. I think I've got an 80 AI right now. Just turn it down a little bit. Usually I'm on 100. Not bad, not bad. Oh, almost fun there. Again, you've got to make sure you upshift to 5th. Let's see where we qualified. 6th, not bad, not bad.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Verstappen, Sainz, and Pierre Gasly.
And yes, that is Alex Jax you just heard. You can now swap between David Croft and Alex Jax for the commentary. All right, let's take a look at the intro for the Miami Grand Prix. Take it away, Alex.
Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the NFL outfit, the Miami Dolphins.
Man, does it look beautiful. Codemasters have done such a good job with the new tracks from Imola, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, and now Miami. They just high quality graphics. In my opinion, pretty good accuracy. Overall, just done a great job with it. New safety car. Now, for reference, I am playing on high graphics.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
And as you can hear, there is a new voice for your engineer in the game. Jeff is gone. Rest in peace. Now, one of the hardest things I find on this game is the race starts. So let's see if we can nail it this time. Not too bad. Not too bad. So again, I am on 80 AI. New icon for the arrows. Much clearer than last game, in my opinion. Lonzo Racing House here. Now, do keep in mind, these are the old... these are the spec model cars. So the FIA spec cars. As you can see at the top of the screen. It's still work in progress. So by release, they will have each team's car and the way it looks in real life, rather than just a spec model. Oh, we haven't been using our batteries. Schumacher's gone past. Should we send down the inside here, see how he behaves? He turned in, which is very fair. And now we're spun. Well, flashing back, it's good to know that they're not going to just move out of the way if you go for a move like that. And the collision model was very interesting there. It seemed quite good. Maybe that's because I'm playing offline and I'm used to playing online game modes. It didn't feel slippy. You know, it felt like I hit him and he spun around the way he should. That sector is going to be absolute chaos in real life, but more importantly, it's gonna be absolute chaos in open lobbies and league racing. I can imagine the amount of incidents there, people going for dives and then keeping their nose in. I'm struggling a lot. I'm struggling a lot. Let's talk to the new engineer a little bit. Boxer slap.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
It seems like they've fixed that bug of when you press the radio to talk to your engineer, you don't have to wait a second for him to start listening. You can just talk straight away. Tire status.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Now that the tires have warmed up a bit, I'm feeling a bit better. I'm struggling a lot at the moment with low speed in the car. We'll talk more about handling model and the new features in the next video. But it's very different. So much so that I had to change the force feedback settings on my wheels. So I'm still adjusting to that as well as the handling model as a whole. I mean, I'm getting absolutely owned. I'm on 80 AI. Stuck behind these three at the moment. Can't catch up. Maybe they have got the Mercedes performance quite realistic to real life right now. So, that wraps up our first look at Miami. We finished in 15th. We just dropped 9 positions. That is an absolute L.
And that's the checkered flag. What an amazing victory.
Whoa, the graphics on these guys is nuts. Did I just see Benjamin Daly? Max took the dub. Gasly P2. You'd love to see that.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race.
New little podium entrance.
To everyone at the team.
A little bit different of an animation. A few different camera angles now for the podium celebration. Yeah, these graphics have definitely been stepped up a notch. Right, look, you can see the stitching on Max's overalls. All right, that is going to wrap up my first look and first impressions of the Miami track on the brand new F122 game. I'm still adjusting to the game though, but I do like the track. I feel like there's some good overtaking spots. I dread that slow part at the end of Sector 2 or the start of Sector 3, but I'm sure I'll get there with more time on the game once it does release. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think of the Miami track, and be sure to subscribe to the channel because we've got another early access video for F122 where we'll talk all about the new features, the new physics, the new handling model, and my overall thoughts on the game, as well as look at the other tracks that I've got in the early access build. All right, thank you guys all for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
I can take